Next we're going to reupholster my vintage desk chair from I think like the 1920s. That's kind of what it indicated on the underside of the chair on the information. But like I said earlier, I don't want to completely get rid of the vintage fabric because I love it and I just kind of want to keep that historical part of the chair intact. So what I'm going to do is simply just cover over the existing fabric. So in this case, I am not going to be removing staples or tacks or anything like that. I'm not going to be adding new batting. I'm just going to be adding new fabric. First thing to do is turn the chair over and take out the screws. I just love it when vintage chairs have all this old information on the bottom. Like it has the factory tag still, very yellowed, very brittle. It even still has this little tag that talks about the fabric. Unfortunately, it's missing half of it, but I'm gonna try to preserve that because I think that is just so cool. The first thing we're gonna do is remove our screws. All right, here's our seat. So yeah, I'll give you one more look at this vintage fabric. You can see where my legs wore a hole in it. So I'm just gonna cover straight over this. For this particular chair, I am not going to follow my own advice. I'm actually going to use a regular cotton fabric for this, simply because one, I already have it, two, I feel it's in keeping with the character of the chair, and I know that I can always replace it in the future easily if I need to. I also know that I'm the only one allowed to sit in this chair, so I'm going to be super careful with it. Here's the fabric that I chose. This is actually left over from a project I did in my daughter's nursery when I was expecting her. I had cut out some vintage floral fabric and put it in embroidery hoops hanging on her wall. And so I have this nice piece of fabric left over. And I am gonna run these vertically on the seat. Once again, I have laid out my fabric with the pattern side down. This is the wrong side facing upward. And I am going to set my seat on top. And I decided I would like to have 3 of these stripes of flowers centered across there. If you're covering over an existing fabric, you do want to be sure that the underlying pattern is not going to boldly show through your new fabric. I can kind of see it a little bit if I try, but I'm not too worried about it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and place a center staple up here. And I'm going to trim off some of this excess fabric that's down here, just because it's kind of in the way. All right, doing the opposite side now. And then once again, I'm going to work my way out to the edges. Now this is a little bit of a different case because the front of this seat has a slight curve, but I am just going to be pulling it in every little bit here. And you can kind of make some little tucks as you go on the underside of the chair without it being really visible on the front. that one was very simple and straightforward, and let's reattach to the chair. All right, there we go. I think that looks really cute. I love the flower pattern in the fabric and how it goes with the flower motif up there. I don't know if you can see that very well. Well, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and that it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below and I will do my best to answer them. You can also find a written out tutorial and supply list and links to supplies and everything over on the blog, which is www.hymnsandhome.com. Feel free to visit over there. And if you enjoyed this video and would like more in the future, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If I look a little bit tired, it's because I'm finishing this at 11:45 at night, because that's when I get my projects done with little kids. Thanks for joining me. I'll talk to you later.